Um, Several questions came in about what employers are doing right now for D&I initiatives. COVID isn't the only current event on
Yeah,
everyone's mind, unfortunately. Um, so Jeff, I will leave it to you to call in individual panelists if anybody wants to weigh in on what their companies are doing right now.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that came up actually. I believe there was some good discussion. Last minute. I'd love to hear from the panel. From a DNI perspective, how do we, during this time, of COVID, and we have to be thinking of diversity, inclusion, and making sure that that's a component that's top of the list, right? Still, including our employees and also including hiring. But how do we do better? And what is it that we, as a biotech industry, I know that Mass Bio has this, very strong initiative for, a lot of D&I efforts. Let's open it up to the panel here. What are some things that everyone's doing within their own organizations? So
yeah, I'll start.
Yeah.
So when I think from an AbbVie perspective, I think it's twofold. I think there's a piece around externally, maybe what are some of the things that we're doing, and I think there's an internal piece. So when I think about kind of what we do externally, we've really updated and been able to share kind of with everyone our guiding principles and what it means to be a part of our company and what do we stand for. So those are some of the things that we've been very vocal about, very outward around when it comes to those kinds of things. And diversity and inclusion is one of the 5 pillars of that particular that platform, if you will. I think another thing, when I think a little bit maybe more internally, is our employee resource groups have been very, very powerful. So we just, joined with Pride and raised the flag for June for, Pride Month and things like that. We've also had a lot when we think about internal engagement, using those same platforms and technologies to reach each other, whether it's our, again, a Black Business Network, ERG, or, whether it's our CEO coming out with a statement internally around some of the things that we've been experiencing in the nation to make employees and help us understand, again, where we are as a company and what we stand for. And diversity and inclusion is at the forefront of all of that. Another thing kind of internally that we've been doing is we've been putting together these sort of self-guided micro workshops. And so we've got about 5 of them that all employees have access to. And so with your manager, your leader, your HR person, you can think about, how you view inclusion, how you view diversity, and be really thoughtful and have a bit of a self journey so that as you're thinking about what it means to you, you have a good outlet and access to talk through some of those things. So sometimes you do them as a team, sometimes you can do them individually. So I think having the tools, I guess, is what I'm getting at, and making sure people understand what those tools look like are really, really important.
That sounds awesome. Great Rita. Thank you. Any other thoughts from the panel here on what they're doing and what the groups have done to improve diversity and inclusion hiring, either whether it be hiring or even internal practices?
I'd say for us, it is an ongoing journey. We are committed to, improving our culture. And, it was really disappointing that our plans this year changed as a result of COVID. We typically go to, many, many events, and to have that taken away was, really sad and heartbreaking. However, we have to find ways to continue to, work on our outreach efforts. Like recently, the SWE organization did an online job fair for some of their, partner organizations. So it was great to participate and connect with talent and help them. Even if I didn't have something for them, being able to, help someone else make a connection or look at another opportunity was really rewarding. I think one thing to look at, though, with the remote working, while there may be some downsides, like maybe there's some plus sides to this that, maybe if your company's in Boston or Cambridge and you're doing geolocational recruiting, you're like, well, I want somebody who lives within 5 miles of Cambridge or Boston because I feel that person has to be in the office 5 days a week. Well, we've obviously shown that, companies and people are productive, whether they live in Worcester or Brockton or Springfield or Framingham, Westboro, that maybe we might see more opportunities for everybody if, not just in a certain geography, but it is certainly something that is, top of mind, and our leadership is, committed to a inclusive workforce.
Excellent. Thanks, Mary Beth.